Today we'll be reviewing your model airports again. And in the end of the video, we'll be choosing 2 airports that move on to the grand finale episode at the end of the 2nd season of Model Airport Reviews. Now let's go to the first airport. Here we have Wasserburg Airport, a fictional airport in Western Germany. And even though it looks quite small with just 2 aircraft gates, it is greatly detailed. I, for example, really like all the cracks in the concrete. There are also a lot of ground markings, like these red ones, where fuel can be pumped out of and put into the aircraft's fuel tank in the wing. Also, the taxiway outlines look really neat, and the terminal, even though it's very small, it looks lovely. Something which you could consider adding to the end of the taxiway line where the aircraft stops are these markings which indicate at which stop which aircraft type can stay. Here we have McLean International Airport, a second airport for Jacksonville in Florida. Thank you for being a long-time watcher of the YouTube channel. After taking a good look at your airport, I think there are quite some things to improve on, mainly focusing on the ground markings. All the red ground markings are fine. They are really visible. But for example, here on the runway you have created the markings using a pencil. Consider doing that with a white paint pen or using tape and then a paintbrush and white paint. When you do that, make sure that the threshold markings, which are the lines you have over here, are even on both sides. Consider adding 3 or 4 on each side. And this also goes for the taxiway lines. You have some yellow in there, but the visibility of them doesn't come close to the visibility of the red markings. So a yellow paint pen or marker would do the trick. Here we have got Norfolk International Airport, an island located in the Northern Caribbean. The main purpose of the airport is to transport tourists to the island, and I really like the looks of it. The hangar here in the back with all the green around it really gives off the tropical vibes to me, though I miss all the palm trees. The terminal consists of 6 gates, though the space has been cleverly used to fit more than 3 narrow body aircraft on each side. The paper folded ground surface equipment really looks great, and so do all the ground markings like these gate signs right here on the ground. The airport is gradually expanding with a new terminal to be added this year, so I'm really looking forward to that. And I really cannot think of any tips I can give to this airport. Maybe some palm trees here in the back. Next up we have Warata International, a fictional airport in the south of Australia. Here we are at one of the aircraft stands with quite a lot of ground markings. You could consider making the taxiway outlines using a black fine liner or a pencil. I like the Legos GSC, it's a really cost-effective way for making, in this case, baggage carts and a loader. Here at the runway he has got some awesome looking modeling grass, which seems to be quite tall, which I really like, though it's a shame this model misses its nose gear. Overall a great variety of model aircraft, cost-effective ground surface equipment and awesome modeling grass. Next up is Florida's International Airport, a fictional airport made out of paper. And honestly, I would like to ask a question. When do you consider your airport finished? To give an example, here is an ILS box, which is a really nice thing to add to the side of your runway. But you could have just taken the 10 minutes it takes to color in all of the squares and make your ILS box look a lot better. The same goes for the grass in between the runways, which you could of course also change for actual modeling grass, and the same goes for the terminal. There are still some gaps in between here, and also the control tower goes the same for, as I already told, at the ILS box. So my advice for you and anyone else building a model airport would be asking yourself the question, when is your airport finished? When does it have absolute perfection? And does it look super realistic? Here we have Norfolk International Airport located in the UK. He's got a lovely tiny airport, a terminal and a lot of ground surface equipment, which I like to see. A detail that stands out to me here is how the road crossing the taxiway has these white and black outlines, which has been really neatly done. This tiny terminal in the corner is, I think, self-built and looks very nice. All of the ground markings look good and detailed. You have concrete tiles on the concrete. I like the difference in paint color that the taxiway is made of a darker tint of grey, either asphalt or concrete, and the aircraft stands are pure concrete. And the modeling grass gives a nice touch as well. Here is New England International Airport. It's fictional, but the terminal needs to look like London Heathrow. The base seems to be made out of wood, and most of the terminals and ground service equipment is paper. What I love about your airport is that the terminals are see-through and you actually have seats inside the terminals where the passengers can wait. He's not only purchased planes like the Air France and the Trump aircraft, but he's actually made aircraft himself using paper like the TAP Air Portugal and the Ryanair 737. There's not much I can advise on this airport. The creator is planning on adding lighting to all the terminals, so I'm looking forward to see how that's gonna look. And last we have McLean International Airport in the Pacific Northwest. There is a lot happening on this small area. The first thing that I noticed is the E-strip on the terminal, which adds a really nice effect. There are also some trees on the modeling grass. There are aircraft stands everywhere on the airport. You could consider adding taxiway outlines, and some of the ground markings like the white ones over here could have been done a bit neater. Now let's move on to picking the 2 airports that move on to the grand finale. This time it was easy for me. The 2 airports making it to the grand finale are Norfolk International Airport and Noble International Airport. They will be competing for a grand prize, which will be given more information about in a later episode. Now there are quite some airports marked red on the Google form registration sheet. Today we started with Wasserburg Airport and worked our way down. Some airports which I did not include but were registered and on the list are, for example, Atlanta International. This airport is not finished. Seattle Tacoma International Airport. They only supplied pictures with low resolution and portrait mode, so I can't cover those on my YouTube channel. Sut International Airport. To be very honest, I do not know what to say about this airport. And Versex International Airport. Also, here both the pictures weren't right. Plus, this is the only picture I got from the terminal, which is one of the few things that I can actually talk about. So please, 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 when registering your airport, make sure to meet these criteria for your model airport and these criteria for all of the images. Otherwise, I will not review your airport and it will be marked red on the list here. Now I would like to thank you for watching to this video. Please consider to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.